Yeah, I think we are live. How's it going? Yeah, just give me a second. I just need to grab the link. Okay, so today's live stream is going to be about the Trendmaster. And we're going to break down a few examples, how to trade it, and so on. So it's just going to be a quick one. Probably best if I turn that music off, keep that off. Okay, so I got a few different markets open here. The Trendmasters on all of them. So what I want to do is just
Harley Davidson CEO says temporarily suspended production due to regulatory compliance issues with the brake hoses provided by Tier 2 to our Tier 1 suppliers.
let me just turn that.
That's Hotel Oscar Golf.
Goodbye. So yeah, what I was saying is how to use this. Okay, we're going to go through a couple of examples and how I basically use this. I mean, there's literally a handful of people that have this indicator. I wrote that code. Well, I had this idea of like 9 traders. Okay, we're gonna train some traders up. I'm gonna share my secrets and go on from there. But pretty much since we started that, there's been this influx of let's just say educators, traders, so on, and there's a lot of traders out there now, and they're all selling some kind of strategy. And to be honest with you, I didn't realise how much was out there. So without getting into competition with people and stuff like that, it's just a case of we'll just get this out. The people who are interested in using it, this is how to use it, or how I use it, and we'll go from there. So just first thing to cover is the money management. That's what's going to make you money. It's not the actual entries and exits. This is just a strategy that has a good return rate, and utilizing money management strategies is going to pay. Okay, so let's try and keep this under 10 minutes. Where to start? Where am I even going to start with this? I think I'm going to go on to Fracshare. I'm really enjoying trading Fracshare. It's such a simple strategy. Okay, so I'm just trying to see which is the best. So yeah, just quickly, okay, while we're here, 4-hour chart. Okay, so we've got the Trendmaster set up here. So we'll just go into the settings. Okay, so you can see the Trendmaster setup here. Pretty much there's everything on the chart. So everything's on the chart here apart from the boundary and the scalper. I've just changed the boundary into green and red just for just a quick visual reference. So if we take the boundary scalper, we'll leave the wave on. So let's get into the examples. The Overwatch. Okay, it's quite simple. You've got the upper boundary and the lower boundary. When the price is in the upper boundary, we're not looking to take any longs at all. When it's in the lower boundary, no shorts. Okay, so in actual fact, when it moves into that lower boundary, you're being prepared for a long position. I do need to keep an eye on this gold setup here. So you're looking for a long position when you're in this lower boundary. So let's take an example. Right, the price is moving down here. Okay, it gets to this point. Okay, we're in the boundary. Okay, potential long here, but on the first entry into the boundary, that's more risky than if we have well, here we have an example. We've come into the boundary for the first time. Okay, we've moved up. We've taken a second push down. Okay, lower, but the boundary entry is higher, so there's divergence here. Okay, so just label that on. So you've got a price lower, and the oscillator is higher. Okay, so we've moved out of the overwatch, and look at what's happened. We've had a strong move up, and you've had 1, 2, 3, 4 candles here, 4-hour candles. So that's, you know, almost like 16 hours before you can make a decision. You'd easily see this divergence in place, and then bang. Okay, so we've moved up, and this move is, you know, a 30% move. So it might look small in the actual chart, but it's a 30% move. You know, you got 1k, 10k, that's 3k profit in the space of a day or two. Oh balls! We are pushing up into that UK high there. See, like this 4-hour chart here, we've just poked our head out, and we've kind of staying above it, but we've got like this lower time frame thing here, taking a tiny shot at it, see how it works out. Okay, where was we? So yeah, 30% moved up. Okay, cool. We've poked our head out, and you know we've moved lower. Okay, second example again. So we've moved down, we've entered into the boundary here, we've bounced up, moved lower, another kind of double bottom style divergence. So we've got a low price divergence here. Okay, and then we've fired on up. So that move was 50%. I mean, you can't complain at 50%, man. And this is just off the divergence. So, you know, these moves can be really scaled in nicely because of the divergences. And on the 4-hour, it's not the same case as, say, if you're on the 5-minute, 15-minute, where multiple divergences can print, and you're just left trying to scale in losing trade. It's just not going to work. Okay, cool. So let's just put some measurements on these price range. So let's do it from the top. Last candle, 32%. Next one, probably there, 47%. Now, let's talk about exits. This one didn't come up to the overwatch, but what you've got is the low tide here. You've got the low tide, which the price has come up towards the low tide, and this could be a potential place where you take partial profits. So that's still 24%. Same here. Price moves up and it hits that point. I mean, you're still looking at 16% here. So when it's hit the overwatch for the first time, another potential point where you could take profits, and that is max of 37%. When it's rounded off and come and printed this divergence, which is this point here, 39%. We've had another divergence print, so that's 3 divergences. So that point was 47%, and so on. Okay, cool. So yeah, there's 2 clean examples. So just to summarize, price, let's say price is moving down, okay, and then all of a sudden the overwatch is, the lower boundary is penetrated. So it's quite simply, you can do a couple of different things. You can set an alert here, overwatch, so you'll just come up here, select the condition, it's the overwatch plot crossing the value of 20. So what it is you want to be alerted when the overwatch hits 20. Okay, overwatch is going to come down, trigger, and you'll know when it's moved into the boundary. Okay, so you're preparing for some long positions. And then over the space of over the space of 3 days, you see this print. You could potentially average out some positions over those 3 days using the scaling technique, and then enter in. Okay. So the exit here is just quite simply the opposite of the entry. It's just so simple. I just don't. It's just the divergence exit. So here, it's just the opposite of the entry and the exit. So if you enter once here, twice here, average, exit here, exit there, all good. Right then, here, tiny one. Okay, you've got tiny entry into the overwatch, and then it's rounded off, so this is a tiny little divergence, as you can see. So 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we've moved. Okay, so this move, I mean this is a smaller move from like this, but if you look back here, you see this tiny little this little thing here, this little drop. That can come, obviously we've got a divergence prior to that, but you have to be prepared about these tiny small divergences. If it's something very minor like this one, okay, where it's just kind of gone sideways, I wouldn't really class that. Something like that, that's good. Something like this is good. Something like that, that's good. Okay, so small divergent, it has to come down and actually bounce and move back up. So divergence there. So the entry, this is moved, let's say you do it off this bullish engulfing, it's moved up to the first peak 47%, second peak 44%, and that's where this divergence is coming. So we've had this boundary penetration, no divergences, moved out, moved up again, and then the divergence has come in. So that divergence is this. This Windows bar is really annoying me. tiny little divergence like that, and then you exit. So let's just measure this, the time frame. You know, we'll just do from here. So to now, we're talking 54 days. So that's, call it 2 months. Okay, we've had 1, 2, 3 long trades that we could have taken. Okay, 25%. Call it. I'm going to round this up to the highest points. 50%. Just call it. Let's just call it 100%. Okay, 3 trades you could have doubled your money. And you know, it's nothing complicated. It's not like you're damn it, gold pushing up past that US. It's not like you're risking you know, your life savings or anything. You can go very small, minor, and scale in and out of positions, and really do some damage. You know, you don't have to even draw any support and resistance. It's a case of, I mean, you could just even trade off this first, and then move on to the price chart rather than looking at both of them. So, you know, it's all about the overwatch first. That's the first step. Once it moves into the boundary, you're going to wait a divergence if you want. I mean, you could just start scaling in when it moves into the boundary, but from my experience, it's not a good idea. Okay, just wait, and then see what happens after some time. So we're looking at the 4-hour chart here. I'd at least give it at least 3 candles and see what happens. So for example, this low, 1 candle, 2 candle, 3 candle. Okay, cool. So we'll wait. There's not really a divergence here, but it has moved up. Now at this point where it's moved up, it started to move back down here. So as this is moving down, I'm thinking, okay, what's the Overwatch saying? And as this is printing a divergence, you know, I'm getting excited. I'm thinking, wow, look, there's a divergence on the Overwatch. We've made a lower low. I could potentially scale in underneath this low here, or start to think about scaling into a position once this has bottomed out here. So I'm gonna do an actual exact example. So as that is looking exactly like this, the Overwatch is moving down. It's not as low, but you can clearly see that's low. That's much lower. So the next candle, okay, close like so, still a divergence there, or almost like a double bottom. Okay, this candle now, it's like, right, let's start scaling in, so you can just box this off here. Build one position there. I'll keep going quiet because literally this, I've got this keep flashing in the corner of my eye, and it's very cool. It's just a trial at the moment. It's called the Zinger Pro. Yeah, it's good, man. It's good. So at this point where the candle has popped back up here, you could scale in one position or portion of the position. Next 4 hours. Okay, look, it's moved into profit a little bit and then come back down. Okay, I'm not going to add anything in yet. Okay, at this point, go again. Boom. So say you've done 1% here and then another 1% there. Next candle. Oh, okay, hello. I didn't know it was going to be that candle, but you see the point. You know, even at this point, you can add in. So as this candle, this trading view only represents two moves of a single candle. So as this is moving away, you know, you can add in as this is moving up. So as it passes this high, boom, add in again, and you've built it up. So we're moving, remember what we said, it's moved up to the low tide, so you can just take the profits, lock in your profits or whatever, like so. And that's it really. You know, it's as simple as that. This, I've just used frac share because it's more cleaner examples. But Bitcoin works. Ethereum isn't as clean. I haven't quite learned the patterns and the way that works yet. But Bitcoin, frac share, and any other trending markets. So just work through the different instruments, find the trending markets, apply the Trendmaster, Tide Wave Ripple, and so on. So I do have a more in-depth video for the Trendmaster, and I will be trying to finish that off soon. That's going to be very, very much in depth, but I hope that's a clear example of how to do it. It's very powerful. You can't really muck it up as long as you stick to those principles. To summarize, Overwatch boundary penetration first, either up or lower. Divergence print for a more high probability trade, and then you know, wait for the price chart to almost bottom out with some kind of support or resistance, and then scaling the entries. Okay, so hope that's clear, and all the best.